I understand what you're saying, but we cannot risk attacking a neutral country.
Did you know a single U.S. Navy aircraft carrier serves 17,000 meals every single day at sea with no resupply for days at a time? And never once shuts down? That's 3 million meals over a single deployment, cooked by 100 specialists across 7 galleys for 5,000 sailors who can't afford to run on empty. Here's exactly how they make it happen. Let's start with the number because it's genuinely hard to wrap your head around. On a deployed carrier, the food operation runs anywhere from 13,000 to well over 17,000 meals a day, depending on the ship and the tempo. The USS Harry S. Truman reported more than 17,300 meals a day during combat operations. The USS Nimitz is rated to serve 18,000, and the USS Gerald R. Ford's 2023 deployment logged 3.1 million meals over 239 days at sea. That's not one kitchen making lunch, that's a floating food system feeding a city that never really sleeps. A Nimitz-class carrier sails with around 5,000 sailors and Marines aboard. Everyone needs breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus a fourth meal called mid-rats, midnight rations for the sailors and aviators, whose day starts when everyone else is finishing dinner. The ship feeds the night crew too. It feeds everyone, all the time, no exceptions. And that around-the-clock reality is the first thing to understand about carrier food. It's not mainly about cooking. It's about logistics first, timing second, and food third. So what does that actually look like in practice? During Truman's 2018 deployment, 114 culinary specialists were feeding roughly 5,500 sailors across 7 separate galleys. 7. Each one is packed with industrial ovens, 80-gallon steam kettles, and grills big enough to run over 100 steaks at once. Every galley hitting its service window on time every day for a crew whose entire schedule revolves around watch bills, aircraft launches, maintenance periods, and reactor operations. There's no flexibility in that clock, which means there's no flexibility in the galley either. The daily grocery numbers tell the story better than anything. On Truman, the crew burned through 1,600 pounds of chicken, 350 pounds of lettuce, 160 gallons of milk, and 30 cases of cereal every single day. That's the kind of grocery list you'd expect from a school district or a hospital system. Not one ship underway in the Mediterranean, but a carrier is basically a city with catapults, and cities eat. Here's the part most people don't think about. Sailors don't eat the same thing on repeat. Truman's food service ran on a 21-day menu cycle, so nobody saw the same meal twice in 3 weeks. Classic American comfort food, grilled chicken, beef stir-fry, and barbecue. Taco Tuesday, which is a genuine tradition and a legitimately big deal when you've been staring at open water for 6 weeks straight. Specialty options that included soy milk, almond milk, and even Italian chocolate, because the modern Navy bends the supply chain around variety in ways most people don't expect. That variety isn't just about keeping things interesting. At sea, food is one of the only parts of the day that still feels familiar. When the horizon never changes and the ship's schedule consumes every waking hour, a hot meal that feels normal does something a speech or a memo never could. It steadies people, and the culinary specialists who design those menu cycles understand exactly what they're doing. Holidays get the full treatment too. Truman's crew reported monthly birthday meals with prime rib or lobster, tablecloths laid out, wine glasses set, something that felt genuinely different from every other day underway. Thanksgiving means turkey and stuffing and pies ordered months in advance and cooked on schedule no matter where the ship is in the world. Christmas gets ham. These aren't indulgences. They're a deliberate reminder from the Navy that the people running these ships are human beings, not just watch sections on a crew manifest. Now here's the part that's almost impossible to picture until someone describes it directly. When a carrier leaves port, the freezers and dry stores are packed so completely that the culinary staff can't walk through them. Boxes are stacked floor to ceiling. To reach the stock, crew members have to crawl over it, locate what they need, and pass items toward the entrance by hand. A detailed diagram gets posted to every freezer door just so they can navigate the thing. It can take up to 8 weeks of steady daily consumption before there's enough floor space to stand upright in there. That's not poor planning. That's the system working exactly as it's supposed to, because the alternative is running short in week 10 with 5,000 people still expecting 3 meals a day and no port anywhere near the horizon. Fresh food goes first. Fruit, vegetables, milk, eggs, everything perishable burns down early because it has to. As the deployment stretches on, the menu gradually leans harder on frozen, canned, and dried goods. That shift is built into the planning from day one, and the culinary team designs the whole meal cycle around it so the crew never loses access to a complete hot meal, even when the easiest options are long gone. But what happens when the ship needs fresh supplies and the nearest port is 1,000 miles away? Every 7 to 10 days, a replenishment ship pulls alongside the carrier, matches its speed and heading, and starts moving cargo across open water on rigged lines and pulleys. Between 400,000 and 1 million pounds of food per run. Fresh produce, frozen meat, flour, sugar, canned goods, all of it transferring while both ships stay underway. Ford's 2023 deployment ran 43 of these replenishments in 239 days at sea. That's not a backup plan. That's the carrier's entire food supply chain, operating continuously at sea. In calm conditions, this is already a serious piece of seamanship. In moderate seas, it looks like two moving buildings trying to share a lane with thousands of pounds of cargo crossing the gap on tensioned lines between them. Deck teams are working fast. The cold chain has to stay unbroken from the replenishment ship's hold to the carrier's freezers, and none of it pauses the flight operations happening directly above. Emergency breakaway procedures are drilled specifically so both ships can separate instantly if conditions deteriorate mid-transfer, because the ocean doesn't stop just because there are still pallets on the line. Step into the actual day, and you start to feel what this really costs the people running it. It's 0400. The galley is already running. Breakfast doesn't hit the line until 0600, but you need 2 full hours of prep to get there. Chopping, portioning, firing equipment, staging everything while the ship moves underneath you, and every pan on the line is secured against the roll. Batch cooking is the only mechanism that works at this scale. There's no cooking to order for 5,000 people in a steel kitchen with a fixed footprint. You cook in volume, you hold at temperature, and you hit your window on time. Because the meal schedule is tied to the operational schedule, and the operational schedule doesn't move for anyone. Breakfast runs from 0600 to 0800. Lunch from 1100 to 1300. Dinner from 1630 to 1830. Every service period gets full food safety documentation, cooking temperatures, prep times, and holding periods, all of it logged without exception. In a closed environment where thousands of people share the same passageways, ladders, and berthing spaces, a foodborne illness outbreak isn't just a health problem, it's a readiness crisis. One bad batch can pull sailors off watch and spread fast through the ship. The logs are what stand between a single mistake and a ship-wide problem. Between service periods, junior sailors rotate through temporary 90-day assignments, supporting the galley, hauling trays, running the dish line, clearing the serving gear, and resetting the space for the next wave. It's not glamorous work. Nobody's making a documentary about the dish room at 2,200. But the meal schedule doesn't exist without it, and the Navy knows that. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Carrier food isn't just about keeping people full. The Navy's Go for Green program helps sailors identify food choices that support performance, readiness, and health, and flags sodium content across the serving line. That tells you exactly how the Navy thinks about this now. It's not about getting enough calories into a crew. It's about fueling people who move ordnance, launch aircraft, maintain reactors, stand 6-hour watches, and function on broken sleep, and helping them make better choices in a fast-moving environment where they might have 10 minutes to eat before they're back on station. That matters even more when the ship enters active operations. When flight tempo increases, the need for food doesn't shrink, it gets sharper. Pilots need real meals between sorties. Flight deck crews running on 4 hours of sleep need something hot waiting when they come off the deck. Night crews need mid-rat served right, not whatever's left over after everyone else came through. And through all of it, the culinary specialists keep the galleys running at the same standard because tired and underfed people make mistakes. And on an aircraft carrier in active operations, mistakes have consequences that extend a long way beyond the kitchen. By the end of a deployment, you understand what this really is. Millions of meals, months at sea, every single day. That's what it takes. If this is the kind of deep dive you're here for, subscribe and drop a comment telling us what part of the operation you want us to cover next.